Next In.
Hi, everyone. It's Jamie Vaughn from Next Level. And I know I'm not Shane or Taylor, but I thought I would hijack their podcast today and bring a very special guest on, Dusan Semic. And we want to talk to him today about his brand new company called 2Immersive4U. And it is so neat. We're going to talk VR headsets, and we're going to talk entertainment industry. We're going to talk music industry and find out his amazing career. Hi, Dusan. How are you?
Hey, Jamie, thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Feeling great.
Good. So I detect a non-American accent in there. Where are you from?
Yeah, I'm originally from Eastern Europe, Serbia, and from recently, I'm part of the North Royalton family in Ohio.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So y'all are about to start getting cold up there for winter.
Yeah, I think it's more or less I have friends in Colorado who are really near California, so they have pretty much their fair of the deal with the whole climate change and everything. But I think for now we're safe.
Okay. So tell me, how did you get to America from Serbia?
Yeah, that's a fair question. So let's start from the beginning.
Yes. Let's start.
Um, I was studying audio video technologies back in Serbia. So in parallel, I was doing like production and a little bit of playing, instruments, guitar, like, and uh, it was kind of a fair start. I had a lot of interactions with like different type of musicians in the studios and whatnot. I was working at the studio at the time, and I just like stumbled upon one amazing talent, and she was so amazing, and the vocals were out of this world. And she was like, "Do you plan like to having a band?" And I was like, "I'm not sure. I just like to like create music." And she was like, "Maybe we should start a band." And the whole idea of our core bandage was that I just have a demo of that song, and she came into the whole like idea of having the band, and then we started playing, started messing around, and we created the album at the end. And since I'm from Serbia and we were doing things, she was. Uh, Her vocals she was just doing the English stuff and a little bit of Jamaican
Okay.
whole mix. And I was like, well, why shouldn't we try to email some labels in the US? And then it was like 2008 7. I started emailing people, and out of the 300 mails, like five responded. One was really serious.
Wow.
Legacy Records from Cleveland. He was really interested in like our band, and that's how we started to, to to just like that was our introduction to the music industry, basically.
That's amazing that you were actually able to get someone to respond, because I worked on Music Row in Nashville for 10 years, and we were instructed not to respond to anybody because if it was unsolicited, we couldn't take the material. So that's really amazing for an artist to be able to get that kind of response. So once you signed with the label in Cleveland, how did it go from there for you?
Yeah, Legacy Records, George, he's still my partner
Okay.
in some other ventures. Well, it was amazing for, first of all, that when you like finish the product and you understand your music, you know that the worldwide distribution is somehow a different whole different angle and gameplay, and you need to learn a lot about it. So just George responded. Then we kind of started doing a lot of tours in Serbia. Like in the first year, we did around like maybe 50 gigs
Uh-huh.
with recording the album, and after that, like the European tours. And
Hmm.
at one point, couple of band members just like walk away, and yeah, we found a new band members. Work a lot of music, and that was kind of our start with Sony Music and preparation for our album called Round Two.
So how did the deal go with Sony that you had?
Yeah, well, it's really interesting in the way that uh, I think that a lot of people have a notion that it's like you're just going to go and like sign some contract and that's it. And
Right.
you're from the music industry, right?
Hmm. Yep.
So you probably know how the whole deal works. So when you have the indie label, actually they are signing like a third party for you, and there's going to be a planning of the tour and everything. In the meaning, they have a certain certain cash they want to invest, but
Right.
then at that point, uh, when it's kind of a first step to a bigger game,
Right.
uh, there's a lot of investment preparation, talking with attorneys, producers, all around. I still think it's a beautiful industry.
Hmm.
Booking agents and everything. We had uh, one of the greatest producers on earth heard us on iHeart, heard
Hmm.
one of our like Helena M singles from the first album, Bo Hill. I he actually created the Interscope Records.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Yeah, and I was like, I funny thing is I didn't pay attention from all the fuss that we were going through, and then I was like, God damn. Like I just googled the guy at one point, and I was like, this guy asked us to do the remix of our song. Like, what am I doing? Like for 1 year. And so Bo Hill, and like he's exceptional guy.
Hmm.
He was accepted to Juilliard at 6 years old, and I had a opportunity to just like talk and work with those kinds of people.
Uh-huh.
Are exceptional in
Yeah.
every way, and I after that he did a remix. After one day, I was just like walking around with my like headset and like just thinking about it. That was it.
Yeah.
I didn't have the answer.
Yeah. So for people,
From Serbia to that, it's like,
right?
what's going on?
Yeah. And people think sometimes that you get the deal and everything is smooth sailing, and they don't know how many years you put in to get that first deal, and then how many years you have to put in to get that really big deal with those big labels. So, how long was that between signing with your first indie label to going over to Sony?
Great question. uh I don't remember what actor said, like, uh if somebody asked him like, hey, you had a success overnight, and he was like, yeah, if success was lasted like 20 years,
Mm-hmm.
then I so 10 years, really, like, really hard work,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of failed social relationships, anything that goes. I think it's kind of different to America.
Mm-hmm.
America is more susceptible to different kind of just like drive and everything. And I think it's still number one country in the world
Mm-hmm.
because it's exceptional to that kind of mentality. But coming from Serbia, where like 95% of people are still like ambiguous to entrepreneurship and everything, and they need to understand that music business is still entrepreneurship.
Yes, it
So
is.
we started like young. So I started like at 19 years old, and I met all these great producers, and all the time was like, well, what the hell am I still doing here?
Hmm. Yeah.
So, you know, I then we had a kind of rough patch. We After it was, I think it was like a Trump era. We tried to get the P visas, that
Hmm.
first American tour. Latosphere, MGA, Sony signed us, and they like invest some money in it. Uh, we had a great attorneys. We had a great whole setup of booking agents,
Hmm.
promoters, amazing, really amazing
Yeah.
stuff. But at the end, like, it didn't happen, and then I just kind of bought PS4, bought a couple of games, and I was like, okay, I need to like work out in my mind how the last 10 years went.
Hmm. So why didn't the tour happen? Was it to do with COVID? Was it to do
No,
with?
no, it was pre-COVID, like P
Oh,
visas. I was reading about it. I was really like, if I'm being honest, really infuriated by it, because we had like some success of, okay, like US awards and everything. You
okay.
had like 2000 US awards, but we had, some kind of success in that term and distribution area through
Hmm.
Sony, of course, and just P visa. Just like, and I started like reading about it. At that point, they didn't let couple of Swedish and French really high class directors in movies. We like the whole Europe was just like banned,
Hmm.
and that's in some point, there were some people that were there but not at the time, and so on
Right.
and so on. But at that point it was really infuriating, because we were like getting distribution success, really
Hmm.
great attorneys working with us and everything, but so on and so on. It's, later in entrepreneurship you learn to learn more about geopolitics and
Hmm.
stuff that are just going on, and that sometimes you just can't do anything
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah, we had a group that we worked with. We had them for 2 or 3 years before we actually launched them. So we had a development deal. We're working with them, and then the label that I worked for was doing all of this. And then
Mhm.
when they're on tour and they're going to do a Canadian tour, and they're from another country as well, not from America, and they were on this Canadian tour, and they get stopped every time they have to cross the border,
Yeah.
and it takes a massive amount of time because one of them made an improper joke about, I'm a terrorist or whatever. And you're like, oh my gosh. And then they get stuck now. And they're one of the biggest acts in music right now. Huge. And they get stopped every time they try to go to Canada and interrogated.
Architects from Britain, they
Mhm.
didn't get, after 1 year, they didn't get the visas for the
Wow.
US. They're one of the biggest like metal acts in the new wave.
Hmm.
And I was like starstruck, because I was like, okay, guys, like, okay, we're not like the tier one band. I get it. We need to do a
Hmm.
whole tour. We had like 5,000 miles on the East Coast
Uh-huh.
booked, but like you don't give architects, you don't give like French directors, you don't get Swedes. They're really
Hmm.
like, in a sense of like culture, they're really uh, Ghost is from Sweden, In
Hmm.
Flames is from Sweden, like one of the best metal acts. And like, what's going on, guys? Like,
Yeah.
come on,
Yeah.
you're the number one in the world. Let us in.
Hmm. So you're having to put that career on pause. How did you end up doing tech? I mean, that's a big shift for a lot of artists and musicians to have to turn on that other side of their brain to get that to start working. What happened there?
Yeah. So after that, okay, I started playing a lot of GTA 5.
Hmm.
Uh, different kind of games, Red Dead Redemption 2. I was like trying to uh, just play all the games that I didn't have time to in
Right.
10 years. Just it was like complete regression. It happened.
Yeah.
You know, you need, and I have a couple of beautiful friends that were calling me like, "Are you okay? Are you?" I'm just like, "I'm playing game. It's
Hmm.
okay. Like it's regression. What am I gonna do?
Hmm.
Like I am still in Serbia." So after that, because I have a degree in audio video engineering,
Okay.
the same guy I told you about, Let's Hear Records, Cleveland, George. Uh, that's his side gig. He's actually a engineer in NASA.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So he was like, okay, check out what can you do in NASA?
Hmm.
Like after that, 2018.
Okay.
And I was like, sure, man, sure, sure, sure. And then I was like, okay, this couple of things for internal control in like, uh, they were like really interesting. Like you need to learn green belt, Six Sigma, black belt. It
Hmm.
takes like 6 months or so. So I was like, sure, I can do that. Why not? And then because you're like a foreign citizen, you can work as the first. You can work literally in NASA, but you can work as a contractor,
Right.
like most of the people do when it's just set up.
Hmm.
So actually, I got called from one of the companies for like to start like as a first contractor
Uh-huh.
in internal control, and I think most of the people would like are trying to blow that up like I'm working for NASA and everything. That's it's a federal thing. It's huge. You can
Right.
do anything there. So I think it's blown out of proportion with all that NASA branding and everything. So I'm just not falling for that. And I was like, well, man, cool. They want me, so it kind of resonate with me that it's a really interesting thing after
Hmm.
from entertaining to like internal control to something really like really important
Hmm.
even as a contractor. So we were like, okay, cool, cool, cool. And I was like, no, no, fuck it, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to sell my condo and start my own company.
Okay. So, what was that company you started?
2020.
And what is that? The 2Immersive for you?
Yes.
Okay. Tell us about it.
Sure. uh COVID. I'm
COVID seems
coming.
to factor into almost every story we have now
I
with
know, but
entrepreneurs.
people, it's kind of becoming like this thing that everybody wants to rely on.
Hmm.
But you know, when you're working on something, I don't know if it's a big deal. We're all like, we're healthy. We're not people that have a problem with my mom is actually like a she's a doctor,
Okay.
and she's actually military doctor. So she had a COVID. She had it rough because of her autoimmune disease.
Hmm.
So she couldn't take the vaccine.
Hmm.
All hard to get the whole rest of the
Yeah.
family. But in that sense it was kind of bumpy, but we all knew if you had like a background. My father, also my mother and father are like doctors. So
Okay.
so in that sense, if you know like something about the immune system and stuff like that, when you had like someone to explain that to you, you're like kind of okay,
Mhm.
I can read about a little more, but I
Yeah.
don't want to Google it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So so in that sense, in all the like madness and everything, to immersive for you came with the idea. I just want to solve my one one condo that I
Mhm.
had in Serbia, which was like one room,
Mhm.
and that was it. And I want to start this company, and I called George, the guy who I actually met 10 years ago,
Right.
and I explained him the idea that, hey, Google Google Spotlight is creating these videos in VR, like they're doing 8 minutes, and they're taking like 2 years for that, and
Hmm.
like I don't know, 120 people. I was like, I think we can do it in a couple of months with, I don't know, 10 people or so.
Oh, wow.
Everybody, yeah, everybody thought I was crazy and so on and so on. Whole point, first video, I was like, let's do a demo on us. So before the product market fit,
Hmm.
before everything that we have to suggest to investors, let's do a little demo. We did it with the whole pipeline in 6 months, and at the end, it was the it was the music video that got them nominated in interactive media.
Oh, wow. So Emmy nominated on top of, of everything else. That's pretty amazing. So what does 2Immersive4U do? So if you know, I'm coming in off the street and I want to learn what you do, what exactly is the company going to make a difference in somebody's life?
Totally. 2Immersive4U started with the idea to create music videos with
Hmm.
optimized pipeline, so we can do the animation in 3 months, what people do in 2 years. But with this idea that we create 360 whole environment in VR accessible. And after like couple of months, we figured out that VR is pretty niched. So then we started experimenting with the movie elements, and we were like, well, people are not going to and suscept to VR.
Uh-huh.
And it was a kind of pretty big revelation for us, because then if I send you the link, you're probably going to see it on your phone, tablet, or your laptop.
Right.
So the whole point was like, the whole VR is getting pretty niched. Like, why don't we introduce some movie elements that are beyond like point of view,
Hmm.
and people can explore? And let's just start from there. After that, we kind of break into marketing videos, uh, animated series, and yeah, that's how we started. And then we kind of figure out that 180 is going to be a big deal, because people are not going to check on their phones or anything. This like be on their angle,
Hmm.
like back angles and stuff like that. And then we saw that Apple Pro is going to like release their of course spatial computing new device. But what is interesting is that the most stuff you're going to interact with is in 180. So
Okay.
yeah, we're getting patent.
Oh, that's amazing. So do you think that this will be something where you'll go to concerts and film concerts, and where, like, you know, like Taylor Swift's the biggest thing right now, and she just did a movie release of her concert, which I think is going to actually keep AMC out of bankruptcy, which is absolutely amazing. But like, if what if they came to you and said, we want to do this whole concert in a VR 360 setting? Is that something that you could do?
You're from the music industry. You can also like witness to that. I think it's always going to be a mix of that.
Hmm.
There's no way still that, you know, as I said, it's a niche thing. And after all this push to VR and everything, it's going to go mainstream. Like, do you enjoy the concerts right now?
Hmm.
Like, I enjoy most of the concerts that I'm playing. What was the last concert that you went?
Oh gosh. Now that
Please.
you
Yeah,
ask me, mine goes blank. Yeah, it's been a
yeah,
while.
no, no, no. But what was the last concert that you really enjoyed?
I really love Need to Breathe. They're one of my favorite bands.
Oh,
So
cool.
that's a really intimate type of concert that they do. They do
Yeah.
some great flashy ones, but then I love their really stripped down acoustic sets. Those are my favorites.
Well, can you kind of um, present that in VR? There's no way, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So the whole point is we can kind of enhance that
Mm-hmm.
in couple of ways. Interactive displays. We can also do like a live feed or something that's really interesting for them in the marketing perspective. But that's the point. I think still that social component,
Mm-hmm.
it's never going to go away.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the interviews me and one of the co-founders, Philip, always are talking is about the content, and
Right.
when we're talking about the content, that's the point. You're not going to take away the core of it. Never.
Yeah.
I think or I don't know. It's going to be like a whole divergence thing. Some people are going to go that way, and but everything is it
Yeah.
kind of cyclical.
Cyclical. Cyclical.
Cyclical.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't think some things are going to go away. It's all just like
Yeah.
one. We're living in a kind of determined space, but
Yeah.
we are not all
Yeah.
there.
So how did you build your team to create this product in such a quick manner, as opposed to like Google taking forever to do it?
Uh, well, first we of course try to check out what Google did. It was
Mm-hmm.
cool. Google had a lot of projects. They are all shut down after a couple of years because,
Mm-hmm.
as Peter Thiel said, they start as a search engine, and now if they market themselves as a marketing company, which they are,
Mm-hmm.
nobody will Google as marketing company.
Right.
They're just like, but did they ever did something for the updating search optimization? They didn't. So everything becomes monopoly at the
Mm-hmm.
end. So it's that terms, you know, I don't, I, I really don't know.
Okay.
I really don't know. I don't have like the absolute answer, because I think I kind of think about a lot of stuff in all kind of different ways, and it's just like mind-boggling.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're way smart people than I am, and I would like to learn more what they have to say about
Yeah.
certain topics like this.
So when you're building your team out, though, when you're looking to find that person who can be your designer or write your code or something like that, how do you guys go about doing that?
I can tell you it was a great question before this, and I can tell you like how we started.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I had a couple of, because I was from the music industry, I have a couple of animators, illustrators, and so on. But
Mm-hmm.
the whole point was like, okay, I wanted to go to a local hub and see what are they all about. And ICT Hub, uh, February March 2020. I already started the company, but I was like, okay, let's try a couple of digital transformation courses and so on and so on. And I got invited to one course where like mentor, like really smart guy. So like, okay, we got like a couple of after that course we got a couple of really interesting like talks and everything. I was like, this guy must be like 26, 27, or something like that, because I was like 29 at that point. He was like 19.
Oh,
And
wow.
that was one of our co-founders in 2Immersive4U. Philip, one of the greatest human alive.
Mm-hmm.
I can still I can still like I can tell enough like how he contributed to the whole point, but that was one of like our key things. Found the good co-founders. Everything else for me
Mm-hmm.
or everyone else that was included in the team, I had a couple of iterations, like um, talking with people from the music world and everything, and they were talking to me like it's not gonna happen. that's impossible, and so on and so on. So I started just like um, going to different groups, Facebook, Instagram, like
Hmm.
just started like talking with people, and in a couple of weeks I had a theme, and it was kind of derivative from the point we started, because I talked with a couple of people and they told me it's impossible, but
Yeah.
after 6 months and a nomination, I don't think it's impossible. So everything can happen.
So, how do you think 2Immersive is going to change the entertainment industry?
Huh? Great question. So first of all, we kind of pivoted to AI,
Hmm.
but it was not kind of a sudden thing, because we started like with this idea of people in need engine. We right now understand the whole video cycle of popular videos, which means they have like maybe one day or a couple of weeks if they have like
Yeah.
uh, some marketing behind them, but it's not going to last. So let's figure out how to create something that's really accessible. Like, let's give them a video in 1 hour. So we kind of created that at the end, and that was like the first pivot after we started the whole 360 180 thing, because it was like kind of, we had a lot of responses and market fit, but it was not just out there. I think it was kind of overpriced, and
Mhm.
we didn't understand the cycle of videos on the internet. But I think now we understand.
So, if somebody wants to get involved with your team, or maybe a VC wants to invest, or someone wants to buy the product, how do they get in touch with you?
uh, on the email.
Okay.
I'm kidding. No, no, no. I think that the most thing is right now on the web,
Mhm.
www two number immersive four number u letter.com.
Mhm. Right there
So
on the screen underneath your name.
yeah, or Dusanet to immersive for you, two number immersive four number u letter.com. So I think that most of them can like we're pretty open to any like interesting idea, but to most of the just regular stuff that we got all day and everyday pitching and stuff like that, I just don't see the value in it, because when you know that you have something that's important, because we like we were working with at one point with Snapchat, and they contacted us, which was
Mhm.
really like great stuff. We were like, okay, we're on the map to like a couple of big companies, which is great. uh, War in Ukraine started.
Mhm.
Our uh, PM was in Ukraine, and then we were like, okay, we can't expect this to go on. Thank for God, he was after that he was in Netherlands and in Amsterdam, so he got away. But kind of a whole deal with Snapchat, kind of after a couple of months, it didn't turn out the way we planned. That was that was kind of a big deal, but it's one of the things that you just like move along. It
Mhm.
it was a great deal. We did a
Yeah.
couple of projects with them, but
Yeah.
life goes on.
Well, since I hijacked Shane and Taylor's podcast and they're not here, I'm going to channel Taylor for just a second and ask you what your favorite movie is.
Hmm. I have a couple of them.
Okay.
Let me think about it. This is actually a great question. I have a lot of, and what kind of bothering me? A lot of them are like derived from the comic books or books.
Hmm.
Just like I don't know, 5 top movies. I can tell you like what's like really boggled my mind in a couple of recent years. I really liked Oppenheimer.
Mm-hmm.
All top 10. I don't know. I love Guy Ritchie.
Uh-huh.
You know,
Director.
yeah, I can't like pinpoint. Was it Snatch? Cool. Uh, of course, I was talking about David Fincher. But Gone Girl or Fight Club,
Mm-hmm.
let's say, is a third. Second, huh. I watched so many great movies. Oh, second. uh, I don't know. Usual Suspects.
Uh-huh.
I sure. First, Matrix.
Great movie.
But I have like, I don't know. That's the list that came to my mind. I feel like probably 20 or so.
Yeah.
What's your favorite movie?
Oh gosh, I do love movies. But it's always a toss up between Wizard of Oz and Sound of Music. I could watch either of those.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Great.
Yep. I love a big epic musical and all the color and all the intricacy that goes into it.
Did,
Yep.
did you watch La La Land?
I haven't. I know. I'm a little shocked that I haven't had like 5 minutes to sit down and watch that one. But that one's on my list to get done. I think I actually own it.
That's a great movie.
Yeah.
I maybe have one French movie. I
Okay.
think you would love it.
Okay.
It's called See You Up There.
Okay.
Uh, the writer was Pierre Lemaitre, or how it's pronounced. I read his book Alex, which is a
Mhm.
thriller.
Mm-hmm.
I highly recommend his movie.
Okay. I will absolutely check that out. Well, Dusan, thank you so much for spending time with us today and telling us your story. Love hearing the background of music and then into tech. And everyone, make sure to follow 2Immersive4U .inc. They are on LinkedIn. You can find them all over the web. And make sure if you like what you heard today that you hit the subscribe button below. And have a great one.
Next In.